Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, after an adventure into the unknown at the Watkins Glen last week, we returned to the Orient for the second time in the opening 4 weeks of Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. Hello everybody, welcome along to the Racer Nexus Broadcast Network, and up here in the Global Broadcast Centre we have myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and I'm glad to have my partner in crime, who's also our producer behind the scenes and on colour commentary. Good evening, Mac Nelson, buddy. Well, here we are back in the Orient once again, and at a very different circuit to what we had at the season opener 4 weeks ago at Suzuka.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot different here tonight, Alex, as welcome everybody in. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. But here at OKAYAMA, it's a very different track from Suzuka. Now, don't get me wrong on that. However, I think the tracks might actually end up kind of driving and racing the same way. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I expect a big night out of Zach Peterson here, Alex.
Yes, indeed. Let's quickly take you through the remaining parts of the calendar, because coming up we have week 5 at Daytona next week, then Donington National, Nürburgring Grand Prix, St. Pete, Zandvoort, Sebring, Interlagos, and the season finale on June 2nd at Road Atlanta. So let's take you through the scores on the doors as they stand after 3 weeks of competition. And look at this. Tied for the lead, Thomas Lathrop and Jesse Mee are tied on 54 apiece in the pros, and in the mid-pack Larrys, Sean Teeter now equal with Zach Peterson on 57 apiece. Joe Mayer, Michael Brock and Roman Bykov round out your top 5 in the going pros, with Dylan Foster and Felipe Cox behind Aaron Sunday round out your top 5 in the mid-pack Larrys. Right, let's take you through briefly the circuit. It's going to be the shortest one of the calendar, 2.031 miles, 3.7 kilometers, 13 turns, 5 to the left, 8 to the right. More to the point, this circuit was first opened back in November of 1990, formerly known as TI Circuit AIDA, that hosted the Pacific Grand Prix for Formula One back in 1994 and 1995, and is totally the season opener normally for the Autobac Super GT, GT500 and GT300 Championship that I've had the pleasure of commentating on last year. It is tight, it is technical, it is really, really going to put these drivers through the ring. We've got 29 drivers on the field tonight. And so, as everyone's starting to ready up, let's take you through the starting grid ahead of 45 minutes around this circuit. Well, the returning DJ Alessandrini, no surprise here, puts it on pole, and it's a Porsche front row with the man from St. Kitts and Nevis, Kevin Zhu, alongside Thomas Lathrop and Michael Brock round out row 2. Brian Lemke and Jesse Mee round out your top 3 rows, with Michael Chase, John Monsalve, John Cooper, and Zach Peterson rounding out your top 10. We go over the page to the next 10 drivers. Roman Bykov joined by Russell Abraham on row 6. Keegan Gierig and Stan Hammonds, row 7. Justin Aitchison and Sean Teeter round at row 8. Oz Eskelou and Joe Mayer round out the top 9 rows, with Kent Kruger and John Agudelo rounding out your top 20. Next up, it's Aaron Sunday, joined with Mike Bond at the hip on row 11. Spencer Vaudois and Paul Bailey round out row 12. Harrison Meany, Mark Miller, Grayson Berg, Dylan Foster, and Bay Cox, the man from Chile, rounds out the 29 strong grid. So, what can we expect? Close quarter pack racing, minimal points of being able to overtake, mainly into first corner, and at hairpin corner off of the backstretch coming out of Atwood Curve. Now, the good thing is the Japanese do decide that they are going to name corners, and we've got a whole host of names. You've got Redman, Moss, Williams, Atwood, and also an interesting one that Zach O'Sullivan nearly lost the back end of his Car Guy MKS 296 Ferrari in qualifying for the opening round of the 2025 GT300 season last year. And that was definitely a code brown and clean up on aisle 3. John Monsalve, however, has ended up in the pits. He did not make it in time, so the man who was due to start 8th is going to start stone dead last. Looks like Felipe Cox and Mark Miller have yet to join the grid, so they could be at a big disadvantage. And that's one of the key things here. But we were talking before we went on air, live here on Race and Exosmac, that we think that the Porsche definitely has the advantage. And when you consider, out of the top 10, we have 70% of them are the Cayman 718 GT4s.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just a no-brainer, Alex. You hit the nail on the head when we were talking pre-race. The agility of this car, you know, just the mobility of the Porsche. It reminds me of, you know, gonna throw it back to a little bit of a different game. Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, you had marathon and lightweight. You felt like you were just a demon moving around on the map, and that's exactly how the Porsche feels, whether it's GT4 or GT3 or the 992.2 that is now in iRacing in the P Cup Class C series. Personally, my favorite series, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be incredible. I think the Porsche is going to be very strong here.
Yeah, indeed. Pace car in pit road as we get and set and ready to rumble here at Okayama in the Okayama Prefecture, just outside of Mimisaka. So this just over 2-mile circuit will see battle lines drawn here for 45 minutes as the front row leads us out of last corner at turn number 13. Now it's the slow run towards when we see Barney, the flag marshal, wave the green flag here in the Orient for the second time in the opening third of this series as we go green here for 45 minutes. It's an even start from the front row, but Brian Lemke straight away makes it 3 wide for P3. And he might get the jump going into first corner. He's going to try and look to the inside of Alessandrini. He nearly got the job done there. Kevin Zhu runs a little bit wide, but manages to cover off the number 41 Sky Lounge Motorsport BMW. Michael Brock has already gotten up, stayed in 4th place. We've seen a couple of drivers move up. Joe Mayer has moved up 5 spots in the opening side of things as we go 2 by 2 through into the Moss S's, named after the late great Sir Sterling Moss himself, as we go into Atwood Curve, and then it's onto the backstretch up the hill. It's a little bit of a camber. You've got a blind crest here as, there's been a drama. Sean Teeter has gone off. Sean Teeter has gone off, and that was hard into the nose of the BMW Beast, and he has ended up tumbling right to the back of the field. So not a good start for him. Meantime, DJ Alessandrini leads a Porsche 1-2 and stays ahead of the Nürburgring King, as he's nicknamed himself, courtesy of his livery, the man from St Kitts and Nevis, Kevin Zhu. Alessandrini comes a little bit wide, coming through Piper, down the hill out of Revolver as they head into Redmond Corner, and then into Hobbs very shortly, but the gaps are very, very minimal at best. The entire field at the moment between the top 22 are covered by just under 10 seconds. As we go down the hill through Mike Knight Corner, you've got to be very, very careful going through that part of it. You don't want to hit the curbing too hard, as there is Thomas Lathrop, who took the Going Pros victory from lights to checkered at Watkins Glen last week, as he's right in the slipstream of Michael Brock. The Mustang is going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage at this moment in time, but he finds himself about a second behind Brian Lemke. The BMW also a very agile and very capable GT4 car. Mr. Consistency, as Brian Lemke's now been nicknamed up here in the commentary box, has definitely stuck with his weapon of choice. If anyone decides that they're going to change cars at any point in the series, up until that point, all those points will be invalidated and they start from ground zero. Of course, with the format of Apex this GT4 Tuesdays, it's always going to be the case that you do have 4 drop scores. Brian's in, not here. He's having to attend a hockey match. He said he's really, really bummed that he can't be with us here tonight. But Brian, we know that you're going to be watching and keeping an eye on your rivals heading into next week, because we will be going to the World Centre Racing to the Daytona International Speedway road course for 45 minutes on April the 14th. But nevertheless, it has been a very, very processional race so far. But from that, there is going to be a little bit of a strategy that these drivers will have to employ here, Mac. And the main thing being is the pit stop is ultra crucial at this point of the series, because we're nearly a third of the way through after we complete this race.
Yeah, this is one of those transitional races, is what I like to call it, inside of a calendar. Yeah, I mean, when you boil it down to, the championship and how one achieved it, a race like this probably isn't going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's for all the guys that have a chance. It's for all the guys that, kind of sit here and ponder, like, if I just put in a little bit more time, I could maybe run with those top guys. It's a race like this, that transitional race. We really start hitting the season hard after this race. We're in the middle. Guards are starting to get dropped a little bit. Maybe the grid number goes down. That championship gets a little bit closer to maybe a reality. So these guys that, not necessarily are shoo-ins for the championship, but are up there, this is going to be their race to shine.
Yeah, exactly. And Michael Brock is hemorrhaging time to Brian Lemke. Looking at the last lap times, Brock's lap time was a high 35.5. Lemke in the low 35.3s. And a very good evening to Rachel. Good evening to Jen. Good evening to Mavisky again. And Kyle Mavis. Oh, he's in Port. He's posted up at Port, suffering hard today. Well, get well soon, Kyle. Hopefully we'll have you back on the grid. So Kyle Mavis not here tonight in the number 64 Liquid Death Ford Mustang. Has one of the, I think one of the coolest liveries on this grid. And of course, he is the man that will not be defending his Mid-Pack Larry's Championship for season 27 as we come towards the end of the first 5 minutes. These laps are going to fly by quickly, Mac. I mean, when you think about it, 2 miles covered in about 1 minute and 35 seconds. That is going to be a lot of real estate that these drivers are going to cover over 45 minutes, including the pit stop. But John Agudelo has just gone off track and has just towed it to pit lane. So looks like the race that didn't go too well for the man in the Aston Martin, the 48, has found itself nearly hitting might have just hit the wall coming out of Hobbs Corner.
Yeah, and I thought it was weird. The timing tower said that he did go into the pits, but when I went to go check up on him, he was nowhere near the pits. So maybe a little bit of connectivity issues, maybe a little bit of hardware issue. I'm not entirely sure on the behalf of John Agudelo, but nevertheless, he's still out there going, man. He is trying his best. He's wheeling that thing.
Yeah. So looks like there's a little bit of a connection issue for DJ Alessandrini, who is the most... the highest I-rated driver that we've got, 7,641, and that is a lot more than, say, our top challengers. I mean, Brian Lemke, the I-rating doesn't always tell the totality of the story. I mean, he's just over 3,000 I-rating. Kevin Shue just over 4,000. Michael Chase is actually the second highest I-rated driver, just over 5,030. Jesse Mia, who is level on points in the Going Pros, coming into this 4th round of the series, which brings us to a third of the way through the 12-week schedule we have here, and you'll be able to catch every single second of the action live here on Racer Nexus. So don't forget, if you haven't already, give us a like, share, subscribe. Also, we're now on Instagram, so you can check out some of the reels that we post as well. So there you go, there's your reminder there. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. More to the point, Kevin Zhu is starting to close that gap to DJ Alessandrini. Alessandrini's fastest lap was the 34.66. Kevin Zhu, 34.62. So the man, the Nürburgring King, as he's so rightly nomenclated himself in the 2.43, is catching the man in front. And I knew for a fact that Alessandrini might not be able to scarper away into the distance, but of course with him, bit of a wobble there from Kevin Zhu going up the hill through Atwood Curve onto the back stretch. It just goes to show that these drivers are going to be pushing. Now, the big problem is track limits. It's another thing, Mac, that they are going to have to consider and not go completely over the limit. It's not always about lap time in a 45-minute race, and there we see the amount of incident points that drivers have got so far. So at the minute, everyone down to 6th position have not got they're on 0x at the moment. Michael Chase has now got 2 incident points. John Cooper, 2 incident points. Grayson Berth, 1. Spencer Bodart, 1. Paul Bailey, Aaron Sunday, Oz Escalou, John Monsell. They've all got 2x incident points to their credit. So big thank you to Mac there for bringing that up for us. So at least I can see who's getting closer and closer to the limits. I mean, obviously, it's when they hit 12x incident points, it is going to be a drive-through penalty, and that will bring up the black flag on the timing tower. So these drivers, some are really pushing the limits coming out of the final corner as Thomas Lathrop closing in on Michael Brock. Now, this is the battle for P4 on the road as they head through into Williams. And then it's going to be the Moss S's. I had the opportunity, probably the best part of over a decade and a half ago, to actually meet and interview Sir Sterling himself at his residence in London. God rest his soul, the only man never to win a Formula One championship, but also was a works driver for Mercedes-Benz and won the 1955 Mille Miglia with the 722 Mercedes that he drove. And of course, the 722 then became a car that was built in joint collaboration between McLaren and Mercedes, and was an open-top speedster, and it was called the McLaren Mercedes the Mercedes 722, a very, very rare supercar that has, over the years, gathered a lot of value in the collector's car market. But Lathrop is giving chase to Michael Brock, who is the highest of the Mustangs so far. The next place is the 175 of Justin Aitchison, who is running P11, and he is currently second in the mid-pack Larrys. Of course, Zach Peterson, who's a couple of places up the road, in ninth, is leading the way. We've had 3 different winners from 3 different races so far in both categories. So with the change to fixed cars and open setup, it's really given the drivers a little bit more of a challenge here, Mac. And we've seen that their development has gone up in spades over the opening quarter of the series.
Yeah, I feel like it's just, there's a lot more to play for. You know what I mean? There's a lot more at stake here. If you're in a fixed car, you know that your decision matters. If you're in an open setup, then you know your decision matters. Where you take the setup of the car is ultimately going to basically adjust your ceiling or floor for the race. So every single thing that you have to do, it has to be so, methodical. It has to be planned out. You have to know exactly what you're going for once you get inside of the track here on a race weekend, or I guess weekday. But yeah, for these drivers, the stuff you have to get dialed in before you even make it to the track is such a big deal. And I think that's what gives this series so much prestige, so much, honor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like we've got our first retirement in the form of John Agudelo, who has retired on, well, it's actually, the timing is having a little bit of a hissy fit at the moment, folks. Jen, I did spot you noticed about DJ. So if they've got a little bit of a ping issue, that sometimes can throw the timing into a little bit of a disarray. But don't worry, we will keep you updated with everything that we see on the circuit as much as we can. But DJ Alessandrini has really started to put the hammer down here, and he has got a lead of nigh on 3 seconds. So it is going to be the case of everyone else is going to have to think and put their 3000 IQ strat hat on to see how deep they can go into the race. Now, what this means is that Alessandrini is on his own, and we have seen it before. He did this in season 26, and because he's got a very, very busy schedule, he has come in for like the first couple of rounds. I mean, we were talking about him because he made an appearance in the Apex this season 27 MX5 League as well, and he basically he was doing all right until he had a Code Brown moment, you told me, Mac.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a moment. Watkins Glen, it was a fun time. It was a fun race. It was on Sunday. It was right here on the Racer Nexus channel. Some of you might have been here to see it, but yeah, dude, DJ Alessandrini, he is so fast. It's such a pleasure to watch him race, man. It's just every single thing he does, down to the brake point, down to the turn-in, down to the throttle on exit. I mean, it's just so pristine. And as someone who, I've said it multiple times, Alex, there's a reason I'm in the booth, man. I'm not very talented out there on the tarmac or on the asphalt. So just to be able to soak up the knowledge, I mean, much like I do with you, I mean, it's very open. I soak up a lot of knowledge from you, doing the broadcasting, commentating thing. But from a driver standpoint, man, just watch DJ Alessandrini soak up all that knowledge. Just watch what he does. It's just, I mean, it's poetry in motion.
Yeah, Grayson Bove has just been the first one to hit the mechanical black flag notification. So the number 8 BMW, currently running P22, is going to have to park that thing. And let's see, where is... Oh, that front end's taken a little bit of a wobble, and the back end has got no rear bumper on it. So let's have a look at the replay. And this is where we're going to see it's going to go 3 wide. Joe Mayer's involved. I think that's John Monsalve. Oh, no, turned around backwards into the barriers. And that is not how Grayson Bove envisioned that one from happening. He just got a... I think he just tried to cut across the front of Joe Mayer, and, well, that was it. Game over. As now the number 8 BMW. Front and rear end very, very badly damaged. He's going to have to now repair that thing. That is going to cost him time in pit road. Jen, hope you feel well soon. Just seen in chat from Kyle, I'm only suffering from sunburn and too much rum, but I'll recover fine. So you've got a hangover. You haven't put any après sun on your sunburn, so you're probably going to feel a little bit raw when you sit into that sim rig next week when we go to the World Centre of Racing. That's going to be another true test for these drivers. It's always a favourite on the calendar here for Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. So Alessandrini continuing to expand that lead. He's about nearly the best part of half a second quicker than Kevin Zhu, but Brian Lemke is within 2.5 seconds of him. Michael Brock is leading a 3-car train with Thomas Lathrop and Jesse Meir behind him. And there you see the 3 on our screens as they come through turn 12 here at Mike Knight corner, and then into last corner here at turn number 13. They're just kicking up a little bit of dust with the left rear wheel as they explore the track limits here at Okayama. But as you can see, the Mustang able to stretch its legs down the straightaway. But then when we get into the twisty stuff, this is where the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS Club Sport comes alive. And you can just see there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say hesitation on the part of Michael Brock. It's more the case of he's got to use a little bit more steering angle, where the Porsche looks very, very happy, compliant and planted.
Yeah, I think in this situation, Alex, I think the Mustang's going to be a little bit of a boat. I mean, you do have straights, like we're going on to one right now, but if the Mustang can't get the proper acceleration out of the corner, the run, what's the engine power even matter for? Because Michael Brock, or I'm sorry, Thomas Lathrop, in this Porsche, I mean, he just rolls around the corners. It's so smooth back on the throttle, and in that acceleration time, I feel like the deltas just don't really match up. So, you know, in short, I'm going to agree with you. I think the Mustang just isn't up to snuff here at Okayama.
Yeah, but it's a case of Michael could use this as one of his drop scores over the course of the 12 weeks. The drivers will have 8 scores to go towards their... Oh, and that is another drama for Grayson Bove. He's off track again this time. Looks like it was through Revolver heading into Piper. So let's have a look at the replay here. This might be, yeah, this looks like it's going to be all on his own, Paul Grayson. And he's going to turn it in. Let's see, back end's going to turn around on him as he accelerates, and round she goes. That's a real shame. It's going through Redmond.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a hard corner, and I don't want to put any bad juju on anybody, but that is just basically exactly how my starting GT4 races went. I remember Okayama, I believe it was Okayama Short, however, made it onto the calendar for the iRacing official service for the old Class D series. I think GT4 might be a Class C series now, and if anybody is a subscriber and does the racing regularly, you can let me know in the chat. But back then, it was the Falcon Tire D series, and one of the first tracks was Okayama, and man, around that corner, is that Mike Knight or is it Redmond or something of the sort there?
Oh, is that the penultimate corner, the right-hander going into
the one
the
that Grayson spun out?
That was at Redmond.
Okay.
So that's coming out of Revolver, going into Piper, because that's a downhill bit of a little bit of a roller coaster section here at Okayama, where you got to go through Hairpin, then down through a double left. So you go through Revolver, you're going downhill, you're having to brake, turn, rotate the car through the corner, and then you got to, you know, it's a little short blast up to Redmond, but Redmond, it's uphill. So you've got to be very, very careful of the elevation change, plus also factor that in as to when you apply the throttle. You've got to really, really wait, probably about 3/4 of the way through the corner. That's when you should bury the throttle, but you've got to be progressive on that throttle. You can't just boot it and hope that it's going to run around and get through the corner right, as we saw with Grayson. And like you say, I don't like that happening to anybody, but Michael Chase has just pitted before the 18-minute mark. Now, this could be one of the first drivers who was running in around about 8th position before he pitted. So now this is going to let him tumble down the order quite a bit. And he's got a long run down pit road. So he's going to be in the, the second from penultimate pit box. So he's taking on fuel now. So it's a long transfer time in. And they've got to be very, very careful. Not just the pit exit, but the pit entry, because you've got to be very, very close to the apex of Mike Knight corner to come on in. And here comes Michael Chase. And from 8th position, he tumbles 15 spots down to 23rd. But he has put 14.25 seconds worth of fuel in the car. As don't worry about, I mean, DJ Alessandrini and Kevin Chu might be having some slight connection or ping issues. And that's why sometimes the timing does have a little bit of a wobble. But now there is a it's the case of DJ Alessandrini has just passed, I think that was the 569 of Paul Bailey, who started 24th on the grid. So back marker traffic coming into play at around about the 19-minute mark. So Grayson Berv has not come out of the pit, so I think he might have decided, well, after that, I'm going to call it time. And now we're going to see, now we've got a little bit of a battle here, and at the back of the train is number 55, the man from Franklin, Georgia, Stan Hammonds, who started in 14th. Mike Bond, who is 5 seconds behind him, has made up 8 places, and but the biggest charger of the field so far is Mark Miller in the 120 Mercedes, who's up into 17th, having started 26th on the grid. So let's see if Mark can make some hay whilst the cloudy circuit here at Okayama provides a welcome backdrop. And at the moment, with regards to the air and the track temperatures, well, air temperature is 66 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 19 degrees centigrade, 68 degrees Fahrenheit for the track, 20 degrees, humidity 52%. It is very, very cloudy over here in the Okayama prefecture, here in just outside of Umisaka, which is where the circuit is located. But again, this is week 4 out of 12. So next week, Daytona. Don't worry, don't worry. I know my script down pat, buddy, so don't worry, you're in good hands up here. But the thing is that every single race, everyone is limited to 47% limitation on the gas tank. So what they will do, and I'm looking at the pit stops that we've had so far. So John Agudelo in the number 48 Aston Martin has just pitted, 15.2 seconds worth of fuel put in the Vantage GT4's fuel tank, as we are getting closer and closer to the halfway point of this 4th week out of 12. And a big thank you once again to our friends over at the Apex Sim Racing Shop. Don't forget, if you want to get your hands on the latest sim racing gear, well, head into the referral link down below. Use the code RacerNexus on checkout as your coupon, and then I'll give you a 5% discount off of any equipment you need for your sim rig, whether you need a stream deck, a keyboard, a wireless mouse, sim rigs, seats, direct drive, wheelbases, everything you can think of. Go to Apex Sim Racing Shop and get your 5% discount that way. Also, big thank you as always to our good friends at TrackCams22.com, TrackCams for Gourmet, who provide us realistic a camera angle that we can find to really bring the broadcast a different perspective, rather than using the traditional iRacing cameras that are normally available on the service. But there we see Thomas Lathrop still trying to close in on Brian Lemke for P3. Of course, he was the man that won the race at Watkins Glen last time out, and he's looking to really solidify his position within the series. And at the moment, well, when you think about it, both he and Jesse Mia, I mean, at the moment, the way things are going, well, Alessandrini at the minute is down in 14th position. He's only made one appearance, took pole position, and that gave him 21 points. So I think the thing is that Lathrop will overtake Mia in the standings unless Mia can try and make some headway, because we are now hitting half-time in this race. It's time to take you through the top 5 in the respective divisions at the moment. So at the moment, leading by 5.8 seconds is the 333 of DJ Alessandrini. Russell Abrams. Abram now comes to pit lane in the number 46 Sky Lounge Motorsport BMW, as is Stan Hammonds in the 55 Porsche. Kevin Zhu, the Nürburgring King, as he's called himself, as you can see with that wonderful livery, rounds out second spot in the going pros. Brian Lemke a further 3.9 seconds behind, just coming into shot of the back of what we just saw there. He's got Thomas Lathrop right on his back bumper. Michael Brock rounds out the top 5 in the going pros, a further 1.9 seconds behind, but he's being closed in on by Jesse Meir. Zach Peterson leads the way in the mid-pack Larrys, down in 9th spot, and he's closing in on John Cooper in the 77 Sky Lounge Motorsport Porsche 718 Cayman, and Justin Aitchison in the 175 Gulf liveried Ford Mustang rounds out P2. Mike Bond in the number 123 car as John Aguilero's just got a black flag. That's probably he's hit the 12x incident points there, so Mike Bond rounds out your top 3 in the mid-pack Larrys. Then it's John Monsalve in 16th position in the highlighter yellow McLaren 570S GT4. And then, well, he's made a bit of a recovery. It was going to be Aaron Sunday that I was just about to mention, but it's Sean Teeter in the Beast BMW that has made his way through. And now I have to say this, as Roman Bykov and Thomas Lathrop have just pitted, let's check out the livery that Aaron Sunday has brought to this one. That is beautiful. A little bit of the old Japanese kanji style calligraphy, and that's just wonderful, with the rising sun on both the driver and passengers door panels. That is a wonderful livery, and that's one of the things. And our house, no drama on the sun visor strip on the car. That's brilliant. As now, well, things are changing, because Roman Bykov returns in what will be 19th, possibly 20th position. He comes out of pit road. So, and that is going to be Michael Chase that has just got in front of him. So Michael Chase was, now get this folks, 14.1 seconds on his marks in the pit lane. Roman Bykov 16.9. That shows that is a big undercut. So Michael Chase could be a little bit of a dark horse right about now. So DJ Alessandrini and Kevin Zhu still lead the way in 1st and 2nd position. Sean Teeter, I'm waiting to see who's going to be next to pit, but Mark Miller in the number 120, who actually pitted on lap, who's done 2 pit stops so far. His last one was a 1 minute 5.5. Right, Thomas Lathrop has just rejoined in 14th position behind John Monsalve. And his stop time on his marks in the pit lane was 14.6 seconds. Justin Aitchison gets a yellow flag slowdown penalty for exceeding track limits. So there you see the stop times of the drivers that have been in so far. As that's a bit wide, not from just John Monsalve, but Joe Mayer went very, very wide. Here comes Thomas Lathrop with a head of steam in the Porsche 718 number 84. Dives to the inside of the first corner. And, well, John Monsalve, running in the mid-pack Larrys, knew that his battle was not with the number 84 Porsche. So a good move by Thomas, as DJ Alessandrini still leads the way. We are on to lap number 17 of this race with 18.5 minutes to go. And at the minute here, Mac, we've got the top 10 so far yet to dive into pit road.
Yeah, and it really just says that I think a lot of drivers might just be following the cycle that DJ Alessandrini is on, because usually we see a lot of drivers take their stab at the undercut. We see a lot of drivers take their stab at essentially just an alternative strategy to get around this racetrack, maybe get themselves a few results. But like you said, with all these top guys, top 10, I believe, Michael Brock going to come into the pits now, same as Jesse Meir. But I think a lot of these guys might just be following Alessandrini.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that one. And Alessandrini, as I said, you know, is a driver coach, knows how to play the game. He's a bit of a dab hand behind the wheel of a sim. So Brock now finally comes to a stop, and Mia just behind him. Aitchison now pits. Cooper now pits. So there is going to be a hive of activity. It's a very short pit lane here at Okayama. Joe Mayer now in the pits. Looks like John Monsalve has dived in as well in the 505 McLaren. The highlight, the Stabilo Boss edition, as I'm going to call it. You can see it from anywhere on the circuit. Sean Teeter now in pit road. So a lot of activity now going on, but I think you're right in what you said. I think DJ Alessandrini is going to stretch this 47% worth of fuel as far and as long as he can. And that just goes to show how much he can... I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, the thing is that I commentate on the Porsche Owners Club Sim Racing League for another sim racing channel. And DJ just came in and absolutely wiped the floor with everybody. And he's getting... Oh, he got so close to that line. Now, he's got to be very, very careful. As going in, he's hard on the brakes. Did he stop it in time? Are we going to see a potential black flag? Well, we won't know until he comes in. Lemke is in. Zhu is in. Is it going to be the freight train of cars coming in very shortly? Let's see who else has dived in. What about Zach Peterson in the Porsche Pink Pig? Yep, he's coming into pit road. Mike Bond could be the next one. He's got Spencer Boudoir and Mark Miller just behind. Now, Mark Miller has been in for 2 pit stops. Bond, is he going to stay out? Oh, that was a late dive into pit lane. So Bond, Boudoir, Miller is coming in again. So they're all covering each other off. DJ Alessandrini, 19.75 seconds. And Thomas Lathrop is going to stay out. Now, he thinks maybe I've got a chance here. But this is not going to put him in contention for the win. It has brought him behind, but a lot closer behind Brian Lemke. Now, Thomas Lathrop was 1.3 seconds quicker on fueling the car, put less fuel in, so the power-to-weight ratio and the centre of gravity will be in the favour of Thomas Lathrop. So Lemke's going to be on cold tyres, cold brakes as we come to the last 15 minutes of this 45-minute adventure here at Okayama for week 4 out of 12. And Lathrop is really hustling the car. He's going full bore and he's trying to take that 3rd place off of Lemke. What is the 84 Porsche going to do now? He's right to the wheel tracks, getting as much slipstream as possible. He ducks to the outside. But it is a right-hander coming up. But can Lathrop, this is going to be down the hill, out of hairpin, down into revolver. And someone has kicked up the dust just in front, as Oz Esquilou has just hit the meatball flag. So he's had drama in the BMW. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But look who's behind Lathrop, Mia and Brock. And Brock looks to have gotten a little bit racier because he's put a little bit more fuel in that car. 15.6 seconds to be matter of fact. And that might help the Mustangs at centre of gravity around the circuit here at Okayama. But can this be the moment? Let's have a look. Oz Esquilou. Oh, does that look... Now, wonder what happened to him, because it looks like he's pulled... Let's just see. So he's going to come out of pit lane. Do not tell me that he is going to have a drama. Oh, dear. And he's gone straight into Aaron Sunday.
Oh, and Aaron Sunday's fighting back. I don't blame him at all. I don't mean to instigate, but I do not blame Aaron Sunday at all. You fight that back. That was... Ooh.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is the Rachel just basically said, he's sitting behind me and just said, really? In the not good sounding tone. Rachel, I can completely understand, because I think the thing is, you've got to be very, very careful. I did say it is a tight pit lane, and that just personified and proved my point 100% there. That is a real shame, because Aaron was, battling for the top 5 in the mid-pack Larrys as DJ Alessandrini. And, well, no surprise that Aaron is going to have to come in, and that is going to be repairing the damage on that car. That is a real shame for the 331 from LA, California. And I don't know... Yes. Rachel, you've just come up with a comment of mine, comment of the night. In caps, holding my tongue right... Meow, as in right now, she means. But That's a real shame for Aaron. Maybe that might have put him over the incident point limit. I mean, be quite interesting to see how things are looking for all the drivers at the moment. So, Mac, if you wouldn't mind, let's have a look at our incident points so far for our drivers. So, yeah, you can now see that John Cooper and John Monsalve have got quite a lot of incident points. Aaron's got 8x. Alessandrini, Lemke, Brock, Abraham, they all have 0x at the moment, so they could be on course for maybe an additional 4 championship points. But again, it's just such a shame when there's always that unstoppable force, immovable object kind of situation. That's exactly what we had there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's just so... man, like, you escape the iRacing official scene, you come to league racing, and you expect some decent pit lane etiquette. And I know drivers make mistakes, but that's just one of those that you can't make that mistake. That's one of those 100% avoidable mistakes.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, we can give our opinion, but the thing is, we're not the ones that give the penalties out post-race. So it will be down to, you know, any protests that will be put in to the people that look over the race and will analyse it with a fine-tooth comb. But still, nevertheless, DJ Alessandrini is ahead by 7 seconds. Zach Peterson has got a big gap between himself and also Mike Bond, and the gap between them, I calculate it's about 9 seconds so far. So, I mean, at the end of the day, and I have to say, well put by Rachel here. Look, this is racing. Yes, it is, but some people may find themselves on the naughty step with a nonce's hat, sitting on the top of their head when they've been talked to by the stewards and informed. I mean, I've seen it where one league that I was commentating on, someone took out somebody else, and all of a sudden got a 10-point deduction and then got an EOL and was disqualified from qualifying for the next 2 rounds. So sometimes, but it's always dependent on the rule set that is mandated by the organisers. Oh, well, Stan Hammonds, he's definitely... yeah, and I think... and Rachel, I have to say, you're bringing some great fresh eye perspective on this, and saying, I think overall, after a part of many leagues with Aaron, and the racecraft is there, people do mistakes, and you guys called it earlier, so there's that, it sucks, we push on. And that's actually a great way to parlay it. So, you know, the thing is that there's going to be other opportunities for drivers like Aaron to push forward, and there's going to be some tracks where we're going to see Aaron and other drivers really flourish. But I mean, Stan Hammonds, who I think might be a new entrant for this series, if I remember correctly. I'm just going to have a look.
I believe Stan Hammonds actually made his debut Sunday in the MX5 series at Watkins Glen, because not Watkins Glen, I apologize, Spa maybe? Or no, it was Watkins Glen. He actually got a podium, and I got to talk to him. Very nice guy, very humble, but he did say that he was going to be racing in multiple Apex this series, and he said he was going to be, you know, trying to shoot for something great here. He said he loved the family, like, vibe atmosphere that Apex this gives, which I agree with 100%. And he said he really liked the world-class respect and, you know, effort and integrity that the guys put out on the track. So, yeah, he is, I think he's going to be here for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and he's chasing down teammate Russell Abraham in the 46 Sky Lounge Motorsport. So we got another member of the Sky Lounge Motorsport crew here for Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. And if there is anybody watching that wants to join this league, or maybe their MX-5s, or maybe the Porsche Cup on the Fridays that they do, go to the Discord link and click on it. And you'll find it's a very, I mean, like everyone we've spoken to since I joined, funny enough, Apex this GT4 Tuesdays was where I made my debut for Racer Nexus alongside Chris Murphy. And I have to say, big shout out to our head honcho that rules the roost here in Racer Nexus, Mr. Rob Campbell, who celebrated his birthday just tail end of last week. you know, it's great to be a part of it. And I have to say, Russell Abraham has brought a bit of pink fluon neon there on that number 46 car. It's very, very different livery to what we've seen Russell racing previously, because normally it would be black and red and silver, but he's gone black with bright neon pink with a rabbit on the side as well, just for good measure. But again, this shows that there are people within communities who will do liveries for other drivers and just say, look, no, just rock the livery. That's all I want. I want it to get exposure. But meantime, look at this for a battle. Lathrop has cleared Lemke, and here we go. BMW versus Porsche versus Mustang, and Jesse Mia is trying to close in. This is going to be heading down into Mike Knight corner. We've got 6 minutes and 50 plus an additional lap. Well, 6 minutes 50 still to go. We're actually going through out of Hobbs corner. Of course, if anyone might remember someone who was a great person that was part of the Speed Network, David Hobbs, who worked alongside the likes of Bob Varsha and Will Buxton, who's now the lead commentator on Fox for the NTT IndyCar Series, a man who was very much entrenched in the world of Formula One and when Formula 2 used to be known as GP2. Will was actually the broadcast commentator. He was thrown out of the frying pan and into the fire both feet first. A man who I've had the pleasure of meeting and talking to. I mean, I interviewed him about his book that he did a little while ago. A great guy, and someone who is so passionate about racing. But this battle here for 4th position, we've got just under 6 minutes to go. DJ Alessandrini now on lap 25, and look at the gap he's opened up over the man from St Kitts and Nevis, Kevin Zhu, 10.4 seconds up the road. And here comes the man himself. He's about 3 seconds ahead of Thomas Lathrop, but Lemke, Mia and Brock, that is the closest battle we have. Meantime, it's been a bit of a domination for Zach Peterson, because it looks like we could have 2 different drivers that then become our first 2-time winners of the series, and bearing in mind how things have been so far. So in the mid-pack Larrys, Sean Teeter ran round 1 at Suzuka. Round 2, which was at that particular moment after it was Spa-Francorchamps, that was won by Zach Peterson. And then we went to Mike Bond, who became the 3rd winner out of 3 in the mid-pack Larrys. In the Going Pros, round 1 was won by DJ Alessandrini. Round 2 won by Michael Brock, and then Thomas Lathrop won round 3 back at the Glen. And don't worry, Rachel, I've I was just about to say I've commentated at Okayama before. I mean, if many people were part of those able to watch Super GT, you know, it is a fantastic circuit. It's a track that is on my bucket list, and more to the point, she's coming out with all the trivia now, folks. So, right, Aaron Sunday has come back into the pits, but Alessandrini, now this is where things are going to get a little bit closer. And there is Aaron Sunday, I think, just behind Michael Brock. So, back marker traffic in the dying stages of this race with 4 minutes to go, Mac. Alessandrini is just literally finding his moment to go, right, okay, perfect place to overtake. I'll get through here. So he's been very, very patient, but he's very calm and composed, and that's why he's able to motor away to the distance that he has done with what we will have very shortly. It will be more than likely 3 laps to go, as he is going to very much take a commanding 2nd win of the series, 1 at Suzuka, and this will be a double delight in the Orient for the man in the 333 car.
Yeah, I think he just has he might just have a Japanese buff, you know? He might just become a different kind of animal when he enters the country here, and, you know, fair play to him. I mean, he's very, very good. I'm sure the buff, that's obviously not real, but he's good everywhere. And I think a track like Okayama, it has the straights, it has the low-speed corners, it's got high-speed corners as well. It's just an all-around good track, and one of the ones that I actually applaud iRacing for keeping it free, so that drivers, when they first subscribe to the service, they get in those Miatas and they get in those BMW M2s, they are going to be able to run at a track like Okayama, and Okayama's up there with like the Nordschleife, in my opinion, that if you learn that and if you get good at that track, you're going to be ready for anything that, you know, iRacing or any other sim's going to throw at you when it comes to tracks. So Okayama in the GT4, one of the best combos on the service, man. And it's just been a delight to watch these guys tonight, especially DJ Alessandrini, man. 12-second lead. He is cooking.
Yeah, I mean, there was when we had the lockdown and everything, I had the opportunity to join the team Apex Racing TV, and we ended up doing the live broadcast of the finals for the Rotax Sim Racing Challenge, which was a cooperation between Apex and Rotax, and being one of the voices of Rotax karting globally, I was then invited to join the broadcast team as we were trying to decide who was going to go and qualify for the grand finals itself on their Project E20 kart at Portimao later on that year, which ended up unfortunately being cancelled due to the international trophy being put down to, right, let's see, okay, 2 laps to go.
No, I believe this is the white flag. Yeah, I believe that was the white flag. I didn't get to Barney quick enough. But yeah, I believe that is the white flag flying for DJ Alessandrini.
There is someone coming to us. Who is that that's slow across the line I just spotted? As Jesse Mia has just picked up a... Oh, that was Paul Bailey, the man from Apple Valley, taking a leaf out of the books of Roman Bykov. He's got the Coors edition. Roman Bykov has gone with Coors Light. If anyone might remember the adverts back in the day with Jean-Claude Van Damme, with the long mullets and the the short-sleeved jean shirt and denim on him. But Alessandrini has just once again ruled the roost. I mean, he doesn't always make the entirety of a season because of his busy schedule, but he has done nothing if not being perfect in the way that he just attacks the race, goes full guns blazing. Lead now up to 13 seconds, and we are on the 28th lap. He's now and now we've had a change for 4th because Brian Lemke has been overtaken by Jesse Mia. So this is going to mean that Lathrop might be leading the series coming out of this particular round, as we'll head into the second third of the series next week at Daytona International Speedway, the world centre of racing. So yeah, it is going to be the case that we are going to be down to the wire. So 5 seconds, and DJ Alessandrini has taken the checkered flag. That is now it. He becomes the first 2-time winner of the series. Kevin Zhu is going to be coming out of the final corner now. He is going to take P2. Thomas Lathrop closed in on him. He was taking chunks of time out of him, and he rounds out the top 3 overall. Jesse Mia will win the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th respectively as he comes out of last corner and will take P4 in the 172. Brian Lemke and Michael Brock less than 6/10 apart, and Michael Brock was still doing some pretty quick lap times. He did a 36.2. Michael Chase managed to get 7th. Zach Peterson takes 8th and wins mid-pack Larry's. Bykov and Cooper complete your top 10. Now Stan Hammonds started 14th, and the number 55 on his debut makes it P11 overall, P10 in class. Spencer Baudouin versus Mark Miller. Baudouin in the Merc is going to get the nod by literally 2/10. Mark Miller being the hardest charger of the night, up 13 spots. Mike Bond takes P2 in the mid-pack Larry's, 14th overall. Keegan Gehrig and Joe Mayer round out your top 16. Sean Teeter is going to be probably a little bit aggrieved at what happened earlier on, but he is going to hold on for P3 in the BMW Beast Monster Energy edition. And he comes across the line in 17th place. Kent Kruger 18th. Looks like John Monsalve will be 19th in the 505 McLaren. Aaron Sunday finishes in 20th place ahead of Dylan Foster. Harrison Mealy, Paul Bailey finishing in 24th behind Russell Abraham, with Oz Escalou, Justin Aitchison, John Agudelo, Grayson Berv being the last of our classified runners and riders. Felipe Cox did not take the start, but looks like Aaron has found a safe place to park the 331 Mercedes-Benz with that wonderful livery there. But looks like we are waiting for the session to come to a close. And that, as they say, is that. here for Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. And Russ Abraham has just said, I hate my PC, running great, close to top 10 with a couple of laps to go, blue screens. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I really hate it when they put so much effort into this. And a technical issue like that is something that people do not want to have happen. So heart goes out to Russ Abraham on that one. So here are the results for race 4 out of 12 here at OKAYAMA for Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. DJ Alessandrini, after what was 27 laps, wins by 13.6 seconds ahead of Kevin Zhu. Thomas Lathrop rounds out your top 3. Jesse Mia, Brian Lemke, Michael Brock, Michael Chase, Roman Bykov, and John Cooper with Stan Hammonds rounding out your top 10 in the category. Spencer Beaudoin 11th, ahead of Mark Miller, Keegan Gehrig, Joe Mayer, Kent Kruger with Russell Abraham and Oz Escalou finishing 2 and 10 laps down respectively. Zach Peterson takes his second win in the mid-pack Larrys this series ahead of Mike Bond. Sean Teeter rounds out the top 3 and thereby the podium in the mid-pack Larrys ahead of John Monsalve, Aaron Sunday, Dylan Foster, Harrison Mealy, Paul Bailey, Justin Aitchison, and John Agudelo finishing 15 laps down, retiring from the race. Grayson Berv, unfortunately, finishing his race with 20 laps remaining, and Felipe Cox not even taking the start. So that rounds out the provisional results after week 4, but it's time to go to the Apex Sim Racing post-race interview show, and we have got one driver standing by. Let's bring him in. 2 times a race winner in the opening 4 weeks of season 27. Zach Peterson, welcome in. Congratulations. 2 out of 4 so far. You hit victory lane. Well done.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I was a little chaotic in the beginning with the car spinning, but I thought I could make it, and luckily I did. Kind of separated me out a little bit. So
yeah, it might be the shortest circuit on the calendar here, Zach, but more to the point, it is the one that really it's a bit of an equalizer, but it really came to the strength of the Porsche's handling that put the likes of yourself. I mean, you finished P8 overall, and when you think about it, Mike Bond finished all the way down in 14th, so he was 6 cars behind you. So it just goes to the strength of what Stuttgart and Weissach can create.
yeah, it was good. It's like it has a little extra turning in the slow corners there, and with the motor in back, of course, it just locks up and leaves the corner nicely. So I know that some of the BMWs were hurting on traction out of the corners, so I can only imagine the Mustang was also.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like we saw with Kyle Mavis in season 26, we're seeing that you're the one that's sort of become the talisman driver for the mid-pack Larrys. And again, to be that competitive, and folks, let's just put this into context. Zach, you have an iRating of 1866. You've got an 866 license. Listen to the list I'm going to mention now. Roman Bykov, who we finished ahead of, is on 3349. John Cooper's about the same as you in the 77. He's in the pro class. Stan Hammonds 3,400. Spencer Beaudoin just under 1,700. Mark Miller 2,200. Keegan Gehrig 2,100. And then you're closing in on people like Michael Chase, who's got like a 5,000 iRating. Michael Brock 4.4. Brian Lemke on a 3. Jesse Meir on a 2.1. Lathrop 4.4. Zhu on a 4, and Alessandrini, well, I mean, 7.6, 7,641 iRating. You must be pretty happy that you're able to bring it to the big boys.
Yeah, it's I don't do a whole lot of the regular lobbies, but it is nice to be able to creep up on there, and the break was good for me. I took a break off the seasons for a little bit, and just trying to remember to keep the car calm and drive within my race. That's the tough thing, is not pushing, endangering or wrecking the race ahead of me. Just trying to keep my cool. Big thanks to Lemke for always reminding me before we start, that's not your race. So possibly next year we'll see how the points work out. You never know.
There's always season 28, my friend. But next week we go to the World Center of Racing. We go to Daytona. The Porsche is going to have a little bit of a disadvantage maybe in top speed, where cars like, say, the Mustang, the Mercedes are really going to be able to stretch their legs. But in the corners, that's where your car's going to shine, and that might help bridge that disadvantage that you might have in terms of the battles that we'll see on track next week for week 5.
Yeah, if one of those high performer, those high power cars gets out in front of you, you're gonna have to tuck in behind it on the circle, or you're just not gonna be able to. I think it'll be too much to keep. But we'll see. There's the midfield, so Porsche always does good there. So might have to veer away from the baseline a little bit. We'll see. So, but yeah, looking forward to it for sure.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for jumping in the Apex Sim Racing post-race interview show. Before we let you go, buddy, anyone you'd like to thank in particular?
Brian, as always, my lady, as always, the guys over at SimLab, of course, and everybody else who puts on the events. You guys for broadcasting, and Apex for still being around when I wanted to come back. That would, some leagues don't make it. So
Brilliant. Well, Zach, well done on hitting victory lane twice in the mid-pack Larrys this series, and we'll see you for week 5 next time at the World Center of Racing at Daytona.
here we guys.
Big thank you to Zach Peterson for jumping on in. Great to hear from him there, Mac. And again, just another driver that really showcases, like we saw with Kyle Mavis in season 26, that you don't necessarily have to be the highest iRating driver. As I said, I mentioned about Brian Lemke. He's got just over 3,000 iRating, but it doesn't tell the story. It never tells the story. The performances on track are what makes points count in this series.
Yeah, I agree. You took the words basically right out of my mouth, man. I mean, there have been times where you see it in leagues all the time, because a situation like Zach Peterson is pretty common in the league racing space. They don't like the official series, so they have a low I rating, but you get out on track with them, and, he might have a 1.8K I rating, but he's driving like a 4K, or he's driving like a 5K. That's really, pretty common here in the league racing space on iRacing, and I think it's funny. I think it's funny every single time, because no one expects it. Everybody sticks to that like it's law. But at the end of the day, man, you don't know the situation. And, I mean, things can happen that are unexpected. When the unexpected happens, that's when the real fun begins, especially up here in the booth, man.
Yep, doesn't look like we're going to be getting any more drivers to speak to. I'd love to have a chat with DJ Alessandrini, the wandering whisperer here at Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. But coming up here on the Racer Nexus Broadcast Network, if you want some more sports car action, well, check out the link that's already live at the moment, because Throttle Freaks Season 5 GT3 Week 3 are currently racing at Summit Point. Coming up, we've got Tobacco Road Racing Next Gen Series Season 2 Week 12 at Kansas. Freedom Motorsport Alliance as sports car challenge series for GTPs and LMP2s heads to Styria and Austria for the Red Bull Ring for week 4. RCR Ricky Close Class Racing ARCA Series 3 has got week 5 at Sonoma. Special Stage Pro Truck Season 12 will start at Crandon and Lime Rock. RCR Truck Series will head to Watkins Glen for week 10. Breaking Bad Pushing Limits will head to Interlagos for season 2, week 5. And then we've got the ECRL Next Gen Series Road 6 at Richmond. Following that, FMA will be having their Next Gen Series running at Phoenix for week number 4. Well, that wraps up our broadcast here on Apex this GT4 Tuesdays live here on the Racer Nexus Broadcasting Network. A big thank you once again to our partners and friends at TrackCams22, TrackCams4 Gourmets, and also our good friends at Apex Sim Racing Shop. Head to the referral link in the description down below. And whilst you're at it, use the coupon code RacerNexus for anything that you buy on that website. You get a 5% discount. Well, up here in the Racer Nexus Global Broadcast booth, it's goodbye from myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Mac Nelson. We will see you same place, same time next week as we go away from the Orient and we head to Florida, as Daytona International Speedway Road Course at the World Center of Racing will be the battleground for week 5 of Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. Until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. We'll see you next time. Good night.